This podcast is brought to you by you and your fellow anime addicts. Guys, thank you so much for supporting the podcast each and every week. We appreciate all of the support that you give us in keeping our little podcast running as we continue to strive to make your anime addictions worse. And if you want to support the podcast, you can head over to our website, aapodcast.com/join or Patreon. You can throw us a couple bones, and we'll give you quite a nice reward, I do think, and 8 exclusive podcast episodes a month just for you, available via your favorite mobile apps. We have our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties, so you'll get to hear us talk about video games, the naughtier side or the darker side of anime, and then sometimes we'll just shoot the shit with you in our after parties. But if you want to get that again, it's over at aapodcast.com/join or Patreon. And now let's start the show.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 553 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. My name is Mason, and I already concede my defeat in the game we will be playing later this episode, but what I will not relinquish, dear listener, is the quest to make your anime addiction worse. To help me on this quest, I've enlisted the help of 2 factions, leading the Moe Destroying Brigade with his army of monster. It's Mitsugi.
I am the capital D P-O-P-E. Oh, crack it, baby. That's right.
So smooth. So smooth.
Ooh, we're going to pour ourselves a pink monster and just take off to the moon. Happy to be here. Love you all. Let's fucking send it.
And leading the Clairvoyant faction today with a, I don't know quite how to describe this headset, is Mandi.
Hi, welcome to Anime Addicts Anonymous. I am Mandi. I am Mandi. Hello, I have cat ears.
Excellent. It's what the people wanted all along.
That is true. They did bully me into it.
We do it for you, dear listener, because we love you. I actually have my own special drink today. It's Mogu Mogu strawberry drink. It's got nata de coco in it, which is like aloe vera, coconut stuff. It's amazing. It's like the chewable stuff. It's amazing. So I'm ready to go today. But thank you everyone who's joining us live on Twitch, where we stream every Sunday at 5 p.m. EST. You can join us on all our socials, on Facebook, on Discord, and we have all those updates for you at the end of the podcast, so we can jump right into this episode, which will be super exciting. We have, first up, for our main topic, the Anime Trivia Battle Icyrose Edition. So, no way! We'll all lose to Mandi's extreme brilliance once again. Right. Before we go into a review of the much-anticipated Rent a Girlfriend. So... Oh, no!
Honestly, I just can't quit looking at Mandi's cat ears that are going to, I guess, change colors here at some point, maybe.
Yeah, they do. Unfortunately, my light is kind of filtering some of it out. See, they're green right now.
They were green, now they're blue, and it's amazing. I love it.
Nothing. I'm just really excited to be here. And thank you for everyone who showed up.
You guys are the best. Okay. You're driving this car, Mason. I'm just controlling the audio.
Big news of the week. I was struggling opening this thing.
Oh, 大ニュースです. It's time for big news of the week.
What is happening?
Mass chaos.
The only thing I know right now is there's a ferret apparently behind me somewhere.
Well, I'll lead us off. My big news of the week. Universal Studios Japan opens up Super Nintendo World. People have been waiting a long time for it. If you don't know, Universal Studios Japan is on the waters of Osaka Bay, and they announced Super Nintendo World will open February 4th of 2021. They unveiled a 47-second announcement video where you can see it in all its glory, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. Construction started back in 2017, and it's a $56+ million project that includes at least 2 rides, various attractions, and the implementation of power bands, which allow visitors to interact with the attractions, such as hitting real-life blocks, as
Oh
Nikki is
shit!
demonstrating.
I got one on my head. Do you know how many times I bopped this little foam question mark cube into like Japanese kids' heads while I was teaching? This has touched like 10,000 people's heads. I don't know if I should be touching it anymore, but I am.
It's really the block that ties us all together. But I guess there's going to be a real life, like park-wide ranking board where they keep track of your scores and coins and stars as you play probably all the various games and go on rides and all that stuff. So originally this part of the park was supposed to open in late July in time for the Olympics. Obviously, due to crowding and everything else going on, they delayed it. But one day we'll be able to go to Japan, and one day we'll be able to go to Super Nintendo World. So honestly, I was kind of skeptical, but now that I've kind of seen it, it looks absolutely amazing. So check out the video.
Having been not able to go to Japan this year like I was hoping to, I am now planning on going in 2022 in the spring. So definitely going to hit up Super Nintendo World. There is no fucking chance I'm going to miss this. I am a Sony fanboy, but I did grow up on Super Mario anyway, so I love Super Mario. And although it does suck that it's in Osaka, that means you have to take a whole friggin' trip down to Osaka.
Hey, don't be knack on Osaka. It's not that bad. I like it.
I mean, it's okay. I don't know. It's just that there's other big theme parks near Tokyo, so. Whatever. It'll be worth it. Honestly, it'll be worth it just to punch dice blocks. So I'm so fucking excited. So
heck yeah.
And it practically sells itself. I mean, drain pipe slides and all this shit. I mean, it's gonna be awesome.
I'm hoping it's not like exclusively tailored a lot of the stuff to like children size attractions. I hopefully some big American sized people can enjoy it as well.
Big American-sized people.
Well, yeah. That is the thing. Like trying to shopping for clothes in Japan is definitely an experience. It's like I cannot buy a pair of pants in Japan. I cannot fit there. And Mason, you would have no chance. Like fitting those clothes up over your like thighs. It's hard.
Mitts is just too thick.
It's hard enough here, honestly. Like unless it's jeans that have like the elastic in them, just fucking forget it. Like they're not gonna fit. So, yeah. Anyway. I'm excited.
So yeah, for my news article, I didn't really have much. Some of my stuff got moved to next week because there are new releases, and there's a lot of them. But for mine, the manga author Yu Watase, who worked on a bunch of older shoujo series like Fushigi Yugi and My Absolute Boyfriend, Sarah's Celestial Legend, they are apparently bringing back Arata, which was like I think it's been on hiatus for 5 years now. Arata the Legend, and before that, it was on an even longer hiatus. So, but Uetase says that they are planning on finishing it for sure now, which is pretty crazy. Arata is probably, I think, the weakest of Uetase's, but it's still kind of crazy that it's coming back after all these years, especially after Uetase just like restarted Fushigi Yugi with the Byakko Senki arc. So I don't know, it's kind of crazy. So if you like Uetase manga, that one is apparently coming eventually.
What has he done that I might know? Is there anything?
They made like Fushigi Yugi.
Oh.
And Absolute Boyfriend, and they made Sarah's Celestial Legend, but I think Fushigi Yugi is probably the most common or popular one. Yeah,
I've definitely seen parts of that. That's a cute blast from the past, Fushigi Yugi.
Yeah.
So
yeah. If you liked Arata the Legend, I don't recommend the anime because it only does like a very, very small portion of the manga and never like continues. But if you like the manga, look forward to that.
It's like Fushigi Yugi brings me back to like the nostalgic times. Well, sort of nostalgic of like sitting in people's dorm rooms in college watching anime. Mm-hmm. Because back then it was like, that dating myself, that was like 2006. Fushigi Yugi wasn't that old yet, and people were like, oh my god, and people had like, I think I had friends whose like screen names were Fushigi Yugi characters and stuff like that. So it's kind of a nostalgic feeling.
Yeah. It's one of my very first anime, and I still have a very very important part in my heart for it.
Well, for mine this week, guys, the Demon Slayer movie came out in Japan, and it basically slaughtered all previous box office records in Japan. So Your Name was really only at the top for like, in terms of like opening weekend, I think for less than 5 or so years. They actually did an interview with Makoto Shinkai, and he was like, "Oh my God, broken already!" But he's just joking, But the Demon Slayer movie came out, and it did $95 million in Japan in just 10 days, which is a record. And it's now at 97.5 billion yen, which is about like $104 million. So it's now ahead of every movie all time in Japan except Spirited Away, which still has the record. It recently passed the Titanic, which somehow it's like all these anime films, and then like the Titanic, it's like Disney movie, anime, Titanic. I'm like, what the fuck?
Can't mess with James Cameron.
And then Titanic just like slips in there, like with huge money. But I think it's gonna pass Spirited Away too. I mean, it's only like, it's only like 5 billion yen off of the mark, so it really only it only needs to do like 20% more than it already did, and it's going to pass Spirited Away. So this is the Mugen Train or whatever the hell the movie's called. So I actually adjusted Spirited Away the amount of money it made back in like 2001 for inflation, but Japan has had like no inflation in 20 years, which is not a good thing. By the way, they've only had 3% inflation over 20 years, I guess. I used like some website to adjust the like, because it's like every record's gonna get broken eventually. Because like inflation's always gonna push, like when I was a kid, a ticket price was like $7. Now you can't get into a movie for less than like double that. So of course, every movie is gonna like break every record eventually. But like Japan really hasn't had their prices go up. So in the news break today, there's gonna be more news about Demon Slayer, and it's just like this is like this is
massive,
bigger than One Piece, bigger. Well, maybe not all time, but like right now, it's just bigger than anything. It's a freaking joke. Like it's 90% of everything is Demon Slayer. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think all time it's going to be bigger than One Piece, but it has outsold One Piece quite a few times. So crazy.
It's impressive when you consider obviously the pandemic going on, but also like this is a sequel film. Like this isn't like, hey, if you've never seen Demon Slayer, come in, watch this movie. Like this is not for like first time viewers. These are people who have probably seen the show and want more. So like they've already breached that first wall of like getting fan base in. So this is incredibly impressive.
So just like as a teaser, and then we'll move on. The Demon Slayer is the #1 manga of 2020. It's probably not a shock, and it has 10 times the sale of the second highest selling manga. 10 times. So it's just everything is Demon Slayer right now. So including movies. So that's about all I have.
Well, with that, I think we can move on to our main topic, the anime trivia battle, Icyrose edition. Big thanks to Icy for putting this game together. There's actually a whole channel on the Discord for you guys to come in and come up with more trivia to stump us. So if you want to help out with that, join. And if you do not know who Icyrose is, Icy is a longtime listener. He is a podcast kind of historian and chronicler of reviews, founder of Anime Club. He's involved with the AMV communities, cosplay communities, and he's most importantly a massive trivia buff. And all of this together makes him distinctly specced out to know exactly what we don't know and make this trivia game very frustrating and difficult. So,
is that the goal?
I'm guessing that's what his goal was. No one makes a trivia game to make us look good, and I'm certain that he didn't do it such. So the rules for the game, as Mitsuki pulls up the game board for the Twitch chat to see, I haven't looked at it, but I'm guessing it's a Jeopardy layout where columns each represent a different category with point values corresponding the difficulty of the questions. So unlike in Jeopardy, I think we will all get a chance to answer each question and get the points, and they won't be in like the form of a question as the answer. So we invite you to play along at home and let us know how you did. So I think we have 2 game boards set up. We will see how much time we have if we can get through both of them, but Any questions? Anything you guys want to add before we jump into it?
I have a question. Does this drop work? Oh. Okay, Mandy, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, do I click on the board? Like, should we all click on it?
I think we will each open our own version of the board on our local computer.
Okay.
Because that way we won't have to deal with the lag that Twitch generates.
Okay, cool.
So.
Alrighty, now what?
I think if anything, Mandi should start.
Me?
Well, you get to pick the first item on the board because you are like the grand champion from the last couple.
Oh, I don't know about that.
So,
I'm good at 50% chances.
Exactly. So the genres we have, audience, is it's all about the game, Rando sponsor Okurashimasu, AAA approved, Keikaku means plan, and favored by the rose. So I don't know what pretty much any of these mean, but we will probably figure it out as we go.
Just so you guys know, of course, on the screen, I have titled our names: the Pope, the Manga Monarch, and He Who Is Spicy. So that is we have the scores up here on the screen. So, well, since Mandi is easily the incumbent champion of the games, why don't we let Mandi start? And I will click through here on the screen, and you guys can click through at home.
Alrighty. Well, I guess I'm gonna start off small because I don't want to jump the gun, and I'll go to favored by the rose for 100.
Oh boy. And I'll just read the questions. I think it's easier that way. All right. Which of these names is not a username in the anime Log Horizon? Is it A, Sojiro Seta, William, Massachusetts, Krusty, or Guts?
I definitely know Krusty is a name. I'm between B or D.
I think I know it, but I'm not positive. Two of them for sure I know. It's the other two that I'm between.
I'm gonna say D, Guts. I think.
I think I would also say D, Guts. I absolutely positively know William, Massachusetts. It's one because I thought it was hilarious.
I have no clue, but I'm gonna say A, and I'm gonna say that as we go down the game and just to make things faster, let's let the person who picked the question be the person who answers first, and then we'll just say if we knew it or not as an honor system.
Okay.
Spacebar, Guts is the answer. So.
Hey.
So Mitsuki is already behind by 100 points. True to MMORPG naming fashion, a lot of characters in Log Horizon are references to characters in other mediums. However, Guts was not one of those references. So, Mandi, well, I believe you still control the board because you got that correct.
Yep.
I have to go again? Okay.
That's how it works. This is Jeopardy. Boop, beep, beep, boop, boop, beep, 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 boop.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of here. Okay, good. I was trying to figure out how to do it so that it took it off the board and I don't accidentally click it again. How about I don't know what this keikaku means so how about keikaku for 100?
Well, keikaku literally means plan.
Oh, okay.
In the Ace Attorney series, due to the localization moving the setting from Tokyo to Los Angeles, Maya Fey's favorite food was changed from what Japanese dish to burgers?
Eat that sushi. So it's A, sushi.
I would have had to randomly guess, and I probably wouldn't have said sushi.
The answer is ramen, specifically miso ramen.
I thought it was sushi.
She said it so confidently, I assumed that it was right, so I
thought
didn't even guess.
Meme sushi.
Which got awkward when in one episode a character was eating miso ramen in front of Maya, so when the subtitles staying true to the game localization reached that scene, they had Maya calling them burger noodles. Thank you, Icyrose.
I could have sworn it was sushi.
And I just guessed. I just guessed, but guessed correctly because I like ramen. So I am now tied.
I didn't even guess.
I'm gonna.
Don't give it to me.
I'm the only one that got that, so I'm gonna take over. AAA approved for 100. A depressed prodigy finds respite with a family of sisters who live across the river.
Are we just supposed to guess the name of a show?
I guess. I don't have any idea what this is referencing. Does anybody else know?
It
Yes.
sounds like Sangatsu no Lion?
That's what I was going to say, too.
Sangatsu no Lion, reviewed by Chiaki in episode 375. Okay, I get it now.
So this is probably like a category of shows that we've rated highly?
Probably. Okay. Well,
Gotcha. We're figuring it out. We're smart.
Mason, you answered that one first, so why don't you continue?
Okay, let's just go across this line just to get a sample of everything. A Grando Spanza.
What coffee brand is regularly promoted in Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Ooh, I should know this. I think it is B Boss, but I might be confusing that with another series. So
Which one was this?
Grand sponsor for 100.
Okay.
I believe it is D, UCG. And the
Ooh,
answer,
that sounds right, actually.
the answer is,
Oh, I didn't go.
the answer is D. I would just give it to you, Mandy. I'm sure you would have got it anyway. You can easily find images. Actually, Mandy, did you know it? Would you have picked D? We'll just go with that.
No, I don't know it. I was going to say A because I don't remember.
You can
shame.
You can
Bring
easily.
shame.
Sorry, I'll go slower next time. You can easily find images from various characters with these branded cans of coffee. So, yeah, having seen Evangelion like too many times, I that is one thing I do know. It's all about the game for 100. Oh boy, High Score Girl, I'm toast. Depicts the relationship of Haruo Yaguchi and Akira Ono. The game series Street Fighter plays a major part in their rivalry. Which character does Akira main in the game? Is it Guile, Zangief, Chun-Li, or Ryu? I'm guessing. I don't know. I'll guess Ryu. I honestly have no idea.
I think it was Zangief.
I think it's Zangief.
The answer is Zangief is Akira's main character. His difficult command inputs are what highlights Akira's skills at gaming. We have now finished one full row of the questions. The Pope has 200, the Manga Monarch has 300, and He Who Is Spicy has 300. And I can't remember which one of you answered first, but Mandy, you haven't chosen in a while, so why don't you go?
Oh, I guess AAA approved for 300.
Ooh, 300. A reformed criminal apprentices with a master of storytelling, becoming tied up with a past tragedy and his art's uncertain future.
Rakugo Shinju?
That's what my guess is.
Showa Gendoku Rakugo Shinju. The first season was reviewed by Mitsugi and Chiaki in episodes 377 and the second episode in 372.
337 for the first one. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all got that one.
We did. Mandy, you still control the board.
How about AAA approved for, let's go 500. Let's go big.
Who needs those even starting numbers?
An extremely dark deconstruction on the concepts of loveless relationships and one-sided love.
Scum's Wish?
That's got to be it.
Yeah.
Scum's Wish, reviewed by Chiaki and Kimiko in episode 378. Mason, did you know that one?
I did.
Yeah, that one was pretty. That was pretty easy for a 500. Icyrose is getting generous. Mandy, you still control it.
Let's go. How about grand sponsor for 300?
McDonald's is frequently parodied in many anime, with many variations of the brand appearing, such as WickDonald's. But which of these anime actually featured the actual McDonald's brand? Oh my god. Okay, I have a guess.
Well, the options are Tokyo
right.
Godfathers, A Silent Voice, Flavors of Youth, or Weathering with You.
Thank you.
And if I had to guess, I'd say Weathering with You, I think.
That is my guess as well, because it's a movie. Well, a big movie
Yeah,
recently.
that's what I think. Well, I don't know about Flavors of Youth. Isn't that one about
It is
ramen?
about food, and it has one part about ramen, and it is all about food, but I don't remember seeing any McDonald's in it. So
I think it's Weathering with You, I think.
All right,
yeah,
let's
I
see.
think that's the only one with the budget. Why isn't King's Avatar on here? Then it would know for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna guess Weathering with You as well.
The answer is D, Weathering with You. While homeless and broke, Hodaka finds himself at a McDonald's, which is where Hina was currently working, which sets off the plot of the movie. Mandy, you still have control.
How about It's All About the Game for 300?
During the last season of Genshiken, Kosaka is shown playing the game Guilty Gear. In the opening, Ono would later cosplay a character from the game. Which character did she cosplay? I have no idea.
The options are Bridget, Miller Rage, Kuradoberi, Jam. I think they just call her Jam, and Dizzy. And I just recently watched this, so it's Jam, the cook.
I'm going to guess D, Dizzy, because I'm going to guess something else because I wouldn't have known otherwise.
I was guessing Mila Rage, but obviously I don't know. The answer is C, Kuradoberi Jam. Ono picked Jam as her cosplay at the suggestion of the Genshiken Club due to her wanting to cosplay a character that would let her use her natural hair rather than a wig. Mandi, you still control it.
You can move on if you want someone else to take one.
Nope, that's not how it goes.
Pain train doesn't stop.
How about let's do it? It's all about the game for 500.
Oh, shit. In the first episode of Wotakoi, Hirotaka is seen playing Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate on his Switch. Which monster was he hunting? Was it Rathalos, Xenogray, Tigrex, or Rathian? And I am guessing again.
I
see put in this question just to make me mad. I'm going to guess A, because I don't know.
Well, it's between Rathalos or Rathian, and I can't remember because they look so similar. I think it's a Rathian, I think.
That is my guess.
Sure
that's my guess, Rathian. The answer is D, Rathian. Hirotaka is hunting the green wyvern Rathian during his lunch break and continues to hunt it through the episode. Because Rathian
I think I remember people talking about that. I think it was green.
Rathian's a little bit more of a like big enemy, so that's why I picked it. Mandi?
Well, they both look exactly the same except Rathalos's are red. Oh, how about it's all about the game for 400?
What fighting game franchise is frequently shown in the anime Bento? Oh my god.
Hey, I think I know this one.
Well, we recently watched this for Anime Club, and the options are Virtua Fighter, Battle Arena Toshiden, Soul Calibur, or Dead or Alive. I think I would choose Virtua Fighter because I think that's what they were playing in the club room right before he got thrown out the window. Oh no, he jumped out the window.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a Virtua Fighter.
I guess Dead or Alive. Let's see.
Dead or Alive is much more stylistically similar with all the fan service, but...
The answer is A, Virtua Fighter. The series was sponsored by Sega, and so what better fighting game to highlight this over-the-top fighting game than one from Sega itself? Mandi?
Yeah, didn't they take the console and throw it out the window, and he jumped out the window to catch it and then fell? We haven't done much of the Favored by the Rose. Let's do Favored by the Rose for 200.
A number of characters in the anime Shirobako are based off real-life figures. In the industry, what anime director was the director Seiichi Kinoshita based off? Holy shit.
Oh my goodness.
The options are Seiji Mizushima, Tsutomi Mizushima, Goro Taniguchi, or Seiji Kishi. I don't know the answer to this, so I'm going to guess. And because there's two Mizushimas, I'm just going to guess A.
That's the big brain strategy. Look for the similarities. Same with the Monster Hunter one. Oh, they sound the same? They look the same? It's probably one of those two. Yeah, I'm also going to guess... Oh, I kind of know. I think it's A, Seiji Mizushima.
The answer is A, Seiji Mizushima.
I swear that was a complete guess.
Directors
I have a clue.
Director Seiji Kinoshita closely resembles director Seiji Mizushima, best known for the original Fullmetal Alchemist. Mandi?
I apologize.
Listener, if it sounds like Mandi is wiping the board, it's because she is.
I didn't ask for this. I apologize.
So the current score, Mandi has 2,800, Mason has 2,000, and I have 1,800. So
I thought for sure I wasn't going to get that one. Pass. Let's do Favored by the Rose for 300.
In Legend of the Galactic Heroes, what is the name of the Alliance flagship that gains the reputation for being a, quote, lucky ship, surviving many encounters from enemy attacks? Was it the Hyperion, the Leonidas, the Ulysses, or the Shiva?
It's C, the Ulysses.
I can't say I know. You sound confident, but I'm going to say I wouldn't have gotten it, so.
The answer is C, Ulysses. While the Hyperion is known in universe as the flagship of the magician Yang Wen Li, it is the Ulysses that has the reputation for being a lucky ship that escapes disaster. Mandi?
Let's go Favored by the Rose for 500. This has to be a hard one, right? Good.
There was a real polar bear cafe in Tokyo recently, and they announced they closed in September and we're going to move to a new location in 2021. What is their new location? I have a guess.
I know this one.
Is it A, Osaka? Is it Sapporo? Is it Hiroshima or Okinawa?
I saw a polar bear cafe and knew that. I was like, I don't remember. I know Icy talked about this recently, but I don't remember at all. So I would say maybe B, Sapporo.
I'm fairly certain it's D, Okinawa.
My guess is Sapporo because it's cold there. Let's see. The answer is D, Okinawa. In September 28th, the Polar Bear Cafe and Takadababa. I think it's actually Takadanobaba in Tokyo closed down and are now in the process of moving to Miyakojima in Okinawa. I think you can get to Takadanobaba on the Yamanote. Mason.
I remember Mason before, or not. Sorry, not Mason. Icy has shown pictures of I think he visited the cafe once. He put them on Discord.
Yeah, he put pictures there. And then I just know because someone asked about what are good manga or anime to watch when I'm learning Japanese, and Polar Bear Cafe is always one of the top recommendations. So I was looking it up and I was lucky. Let's go. It's all about the game for 200, so I can once again lose choosing privilege.
In Great Teacher Onizuka is seen playing a PS1 game in his room with actual game footage being shown on screen. What is the game being played on screen? I think I know what it is. The answer is A. The choices are Ape Escape, Tekken, Crash Bandicoot, or Wild Arms. I have a guess.
Isn't Wild Arms a new game?
No.
I could be wrong. I would guess either A, Ape Escape, or C, Crash Bandicoot. I'm going to go with Ape Escape.
I was going to say Crash Bandicoot because I don't remember.
I believe it is Wild Arms. Let's find out. The answer is B, Ape Escape. Onizuka is playing Ape Escape on his PS1 as a testament to how great he is. He is playing the game using an own controller instead of a DualShock, which is actually impossible.
I think it's supposed to be Ape Escape.
Oh, Ape Escape. Which one of you got that right?
Mason, me. Wow.
That's it.
Yeah, it actually is an old game. What's the Nintendo Switch game I'm thinking of? Arms, maybe? No, Wild?
I'm not sure.
Anyway.
But that was a tricky question by Icyrose because I think they actually discuss Wild Arms. Him and whatever the hell the boy's name is discuss Wild Arms, but then I think he asks to borrow it, but then doesn't maybe actually play it. Mandi, I think it's yours again.
No, it's Mason.
Oh, Mason,
I said
it's
Crash
yours.
Bandicoot.
Let's go with AAA approved for 400, please.
A traumatized former child prodigy's life has changed since he meets an energetic girl with her own secrets.
I have no idea. Energetic girl.
I don't want to. I'm gonna just wait a couple.
For the sake of time, I give up.
I believe it's Your Lie in April.
Yeah.
Your Lie in April, reviewed by Mitsugi, Chiaki, and Kazuo in episode 280. It is the only anime that has gotten 5 from 3 hosts.
I think it threw me off because I was thinking of a former child prodigy, so someone who is no longer a child. But
well, he's
fair enough.
Child prodigy at the piano.
Okay.
Yeah, I was reading it as former child instead of former child.
A former child?
Yeah, this was an adult.
Everyone's a former child, Mason.
Well, he's still a child. He's still a kid.
He's in high school.
Well, call the other person the. Doesn't matter. Get it, semantics. I'll take the L.
All right. Well, I think I have control of the board for the first time. I think legitimately. I'm gonna go with.
Oh, did you get me too? Because I was gonna say that you skipped over me.
You had it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Gurando Sponsor Okurishimasu for 200. Which Konbini franchise did Ronka Lee release a song for in the Macross Frontier movies? Holy shit.
I'm going to
I have a
guess
guess.
7-Eleven.
Let's say B, Family Mart.
I'm going to guess.
The options are 7-Eleven, Family Mart, Lawson, or Daily Yamazaki.
Yeah, thank you, Mandy. I'm going to guess Lawson. The answer is B, Family Mart. She even released a song for the franchise called Family Mart Cosmos. Was that you, Mandy, that got that?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I
All right.
completely guessed.
Mandy, you have control again.
I think it's just because Family Mart is so like well known in Japan, I think. But let's do Grando's sponsor for 500.
During the run of Puella Magi Madoka Magica, a commercial for a drink became a meme due to the stark contrast of the commercial and the anime's atmosphere. What was the drink called? Was it Afternoon Shock, Morning Rescue, Evening Calm, or Daytime Surprise?
I don't know any of these drinks, so I'll just say the one that looks the cutest. How about Evening Calm?
That was going to be my guess, but just because I need to catch up points, I'm going to guess D, Daytime Surprise.
My guess was also Evening Calm. The answer is B, Morning Rescue. The drink was advertised during the second episode.
We all fail.
I thought for sure that was birth control.
And is
that's Morning Shock.
All
I'm
right.
so sorry.
I believe is it? Oh no, it's Mandy. It's your pick.
no.
Right?
It's still you because we all failed.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You can't skirt this privilege.
Yeah.
Let's do grand sponsor 400. Oh.
Tiger and Bunny featured many sponsorship deals, with actual brands being displayed all over the superhero outfits. During the series run, the character Blue Rose would advertise which flavor of Pepsi?
Pepsi Max, Pepsi Blue, Pepsi Next, or Crystal Pepsi.
That good
Holy
old Pepsi.
shit.
I gotta get that Pepsi in my system. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, man.
But anyways, I've never seen Tiger and Bunny, so Pepsi Blue is too obvious, so I'd say Crystal.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna guess Pepsi Max. It's the most
I
prominent
think
brand.
it's Pepsi Next.
All right, let's find out. The answer is Pepsi Next. They were clearly going for a bit of a pun since since people with superpowers in the series are called Next. Mason catches up a little bit to Mandy. Mandy's still in front with 3,700. Mason has 3,100, and then the Pope is hopelessly behind with 2,200. Mason,
Mandy's no longer allowed to guess right. Okay, deal break. Let's go to Favored by the Rose for 400.
Before writing The 12 Kingdoms, author Fuyumi Ono wrote a short story that would eventually be worked into the series lore. What was the story called?
The options are The Corpse Demon, The Birds of Hisho, The Demonic Child, or The Dreams of Prosperity.
These all sound like Modao Zushi episodes.
I believe I know it.
The Demonic Cultivators.
Yeah, exactly. I'm guessing it's one of the demon ones. I have no idea which. I'm gonna guess A, the Corpse Demon.
I believe I'm going to guess The
sorry.
Birds of Hisho, but I'm not 100% sure.
Because I was also thinking it was worked into the series lore, but I can't remember any birds. I know there's a lot of Kirin. How about I'm going to go? I was going to say Birds of Hisho, but I can't remember any birds, so I'm going to say D, The Dreams of Prosperity.
The answer is The Demonic Child. None of us got it.
Oh.
The Demonic Child refers to the boy who would later be known in the 12 Kingdoms as Taiki. Taiki's my fucking jam, by the way. Holy shit. The short story is later worked in part of the Sea of Wind, Shore of the Labyrinth arc of the series. 12 Kingdoms, so fucking good. Wow. I'm not used to missing 12 Kingdoms
Another
questions.
0 for 3.
Taiki
Yeah.
was the Black Kirin, right?
Yeah, yep. That's my favorite
So,
part of the story.
Did
my
they
favorite
consider
part.
him a demon? I guess that's what threw me off, is the demon part.
I'm not really sure.
Hmm.
Maybe there might have been some like people who referenced him that way somewhere, but I don't remember that. But
Yeah.
I think it's Mason, is it?
Yep. We'll do the last one in AAA approved for 200.
In a Prohibition-era mob town, a young man befriends the son of a mafia don while plotting revenge against them for murdering his family 7 years ago. Oh my god.
So many buzzwords. I'm ready if you guys have figured it out.
Since I don't think I've seen this, but I do know that it came up when we did like when we were ranking like the top 5 out of 5s that the podcast has given, only because of the cover art. Is it 91 Days?
Yes.
I think it has to be. But
That's what I'm guessing.
And I also haven't seen it.
There's not too many anime with Prohibition-era mafia dons in it.
Reviewed by Chiaki and Kimiko in episode 354, the answer is 91 Days.
Yeah.
Mason?
And I think it's like one of the very few 5 out of 5s that I didn't see on our list.
So all we have left, listener, are the last 4 in Keikaku means plan. So let's just run down the line. 200, please.
To get around copyright claims, stands and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure would frequently need to be edited to avoid the musical references in their names. What was Guido Mista's stand Sex Pistols changed to?
I know this one.
I know this one too.
Mitz?
I'm guessing, but I'm going to guess Love Gun. Here we go.
It is A, 6 bullets.
Son of a bitch. 6 bullets is a reference to the 6 bullets that comprised his stand.
It's the only question I was 100% confident on so far.
This is a duel between Mandi and Mason. I'm not even in sight in this. 300?
It's a 6 battle shootout.
What title was ADV originally going to release the series Utawareru Mono under when they first announced the series? Is it A, the one being sung, B, Mask of Deception, C, Prelude of the Fallen, or D, Shadow Warrior Chronicles? And I actually think I know this one, but that means I probably don't.
I think I remember seeing this. I think when they brought it out as a visual novel, I think it's B, Mask of Deception, but I could be wrong.
I have no idea. I'm going to guess C, Prelude to the Fallen, but I want to commend Mitsugi for how well he's been reading these questions, especially when they throw zingers in there, like Utawareru in there.
Utawareru Mono?
Yeah.
I believe that I think the literal translation of that is roughly the one being sung, and I think that's the answer. So, which means it's probably not right. The answer is Shadow Warrior Chronicles. That's a terrible name.
No one guessed.
Yeah,
the name was changed after negative feedback. I can see why.
Mask of Deception was the second game. That's why I remember that name.
All right, guys. So just to make this interesting, Mandi is ahead of Mason by 400 points. There are 2 questions left, and one of them is worth 400 and one is worth 500. It's anyone's game, and here we go for 400 points. Keijo player Kazane Aoba's special technique is an obvious reference to the Fate franchise. What name did translators give it to further drive the point across? Is it A, Excalibur, B, Gate of Booty Lawn, C, Unlimited Buttworks, I love that, or D, Booby Fion?
I think it was C. Wasn't it Unlimited Buttworks?
I mean, I have to catch up, so I don't think it's Excalibur, and I don't think it's Booby Fion, so I'm going to guess I'm just going to say this word, Gate of Booty Lawn for B.
I think it was Unlimited Buttworks, because all, like, the gold butts came out of her, like, out behind her.
Listen, Icy's a smart lad. He wouldn't have put the option for B for booty, not as the answer, so I'm sticking to my guns.
The answer is B, Gate of Booty Lawn.
Really?
And I actually knew, and for once I knew that one. While her attack functionally worked like Unlimited Blade works, the visual aesthetic of the move was a direct reference to Gilgamesh's Gate of Babylon. The actual translation is more accurately translated to Hip of Babylon. All right, Mandi and Mason are tied now with a 500-point question remaining, and I'm out of it, but I'm proud that I got to 2,600. Here we go, final question. Sengoku Basara is an anime based off a Musou-like game from Capcom. While the third game was released in the West under its real name, the first one was released under a heavily localized title. What was that game called? Was it Samurai Kings, Onimusha Warriors, Basara Heroes, or Devil Kings?
Well,
I know this
he
one.
says heavily localized title, so I don't think Onimusha or Basara would be in there. So it's either Samurai Kings or Devil Kings. I have no idea. I'm going to guess.
He's guessing. It's a big. There's big stuff on the line here.
A, Samurai Kings.
It's
Final
D.
answer. No.
Is A your final answer?
I mean, yes, it is.
And the answer is D, Devil Kings.
No.
As Link the Devil May Cry.
In an attempt to appeal to Western audiences, Capcom removed all references to the Sengoku period, and the characters were vaguely linked to the Devil May Cry franchise, with historical figures such as Nobunaga Oda, Masamune Date, and Yukimura Sanada getting renamed as Devil Kings.
Literal samurais are getting renamed.
Whoa! That was quite a fun game! I can't play more than one drop at once. The little kids are screaming. The final score... I didn't even bother answering the last one. The final score, Mandi with 4,400. Yay! Mason...
The chat is congratulating Mandi.
Mason tried his best. He who is spicy comes in second with 3,900. And the Pope, well, with 2,600. But hey, I can read, and I proved that today, so that's good. Oh boy! So we actually have another game that Icyrose made for us, but I guess we'll save it because this is a really fun game anyway. So we might as well make it last. And you know, obviously, huge thanks to Icyrose for putting together this stuff because it's got to be a ton of effort. So just one more children's cheer for Icyrose. Oh, and as my soundboard is like totally muted. Let's do that again. There we go.
First it was muted, then deafening.
Children in your ear screaming as loud as possible. That's one's for you, Icy. So thank you again for top-notch effort. And yeah, like I said, we have a whole channel on Discord for you to give us more ideas of how to stump us. So go in there and check it out. And with that, we can move to our news break.
Yeah, so for our news break trivia, which we'll get to after the break, the question is, in the show Rent a Girlfriend, under what name does Chizuru Ichinose work as? Ponder it and we'll answer it after the break.
Nyang.
Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsuki is here, and I'm bringing you your anime news break, starting off with some news from 2020, from November 18th, 2019 to November 22nd, 2020. So most of the 2020 year, or rather a rolling one-year time period. The Japanese manga and light novel sales rankings, with Demon Slayer just laughably taking the top spot in the manga sales with 82 million mangas sold in 2020, equaling roughly 10 times the second place property, which is Kingdom. And then One Piece, Haikyuu, Jujutsu Kaisen, Promised Neverland, Quintessential Quintuplets, My Hero Academia, Spy Family, and Attack on Titan, rounding out the top 10, but all of which combined do not equal the sales of Demon Slayer. So wild stuff. And in manga sales by volume, the top 22 are all Demon Slayer volumes, all averaging, I'd say, about 3.5 million sales apiece. So just wild stuff. In the light novel category, also Demon Slayer is on top with 2.7 million, with ReZero coming in second at 732,000. So this is just a Demon Slayer world. We're all living in it. Next up, Square Enix has changed some of its policies towards its employees and their working conditions, saying that from December 1st onward, as a permanent and core program. Amongst the working styles that it accommodates, the company will allow employees to work from home instead of being a temporary thing because of COVID-19. The Square Enix company says that the work from home based system will be eligible for people that want to work from home at least 3 days a week. They can change their status on a monthly basis. 80% of Square Enix employees are expected to work from home in December. Next up, the U.S. monthly book scan list. So let's see how Demon Slayer fares in the U.S. compared to Japan for November 2020, with My Hero Academia taking the top 3 spots, or rather 1, 2, and 4 on the list. Demon Slayer can be found at 6 and 7, so it's not far behind, but it looks like in terms of the United States, My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer are both vying for number 1. Haikyuu came in at number 5, and My Hero Academia also coming in at 8 and 9, with certain other properties like Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, Tokyo Ghoul, and Junji Ito also existing in the top 20. Next up, some news about the hacker that hacked Nintendo and leaked a bunch of information all over the web regarding the private account information of many Nintendo customers. The individual, 21-year-old Ryan Hernandez, sentenced to 3 years in prison for crimes related to hacking and also possession of child pornography, with 7 years of supervised release following prison. So apparently he had hacked someone back in 2016. He got busted by the FBI, and that was Nintendo that he hacked. And then after being asked to stop, he continued to hack Nintendo again in 2018 to 2019, leaking malicious information that was acquired online. So Hernandez going to jail for leaking the information of Nintendo customers. Next up, and finally on this news break, Sony streamed the PlayStation Partner Awards for 2020 in Japan on Thursday. So the PlayStation Awards were changed to the PlayStation Partner Awards this past year. So this is celebrating the 25th anniversary of the company. That's why they changed the title of the award. The Partner Award has gone to Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2, Black Desert, Neo 2, Resident Evil 3's remake, Final Fantasy XIV, Shadowringers, Persona 5 Royal, and Yakuza Like a Dragon, all coming in with the Partner Awards, or the highly acclaimed and praised around the world awards. So if you're a fan of any of those games, feel happy. They are also being recognized elsewhere. This is Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. Now time to get back to the podcast right now. Welcome back to the pod.
I'm roasting over here, roasting with how fire that drop is.
You like that shit?
So good.
There's like a million Sonic the Hedgehog sound effects in that. In the show Rent a Girlfriend, under what name does Chizuru Ichinose work? Chizuru Mizuhara. That's the answer.
There you go.
Anyway, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, it is time for the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for Mandy's Manga Minute. Mandy, are you ready for your time to shine?
I am.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandi.
This is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga and help you find something new to read. And this one is called My Dress Up Darling. You can look at it on this stream if you're watching live. My Dress Up Darling is by Shinichi Fukuda. It's still ongoing, and I think there are 3 volumes currently available in English. but the story is about a young man named Wakana Gojo, and he works with his grandfather at a little studio that makes dolls, and he loves making dolls, especially the clothing. But he's kind of ashamed of his hobby, and like he doesn't really talk to anybody at school either. He has a lot of trouble making friends. But he then meets Mirin Kitigawa, who at his school, who is the prettiest girl in their class, and she loves anime, absolutely loves anime, especially Edo games. But she is not ashamed of her hobbies in the least, and she desperately wants somebody to share her hobbies with, and she will just blurt out everything about Edo games, like, and not even care what anybody thinks about her. She will shut down anyone who attempts to belittle her for her hobbies. And but she does have another hobby that she really wants to get into, but is struggling with, and that's cosplay. And after finding out that Gojo can make clothing, she begs him to help her make cosplay outfits for events. And the first volume bounces between the characters' hobbies, with Gojo going over all the steps that it's going to take to make her costume, and she just rambles on about her games and how much she loves them to Gojo's surprise. But this manga does have a lot of ecchi comedy in it. So if you don't like that, just be warned, especially when it gets to a chapter about Gojo measuring her for the first time. He's very easily embarrassed, but I think like he's kind of like that stereotypical character that we see in high school, like rom-coms, who's very easily embarrassed. But Kitagawa, though, she's not embarrassed at all, and I think that's how it kind of works. Like she is completely open and not embarrassed about him measuring her, and she's very straightforward. So if you can stand some of the ecchi comedy, there are some hints in there that the two are going to develop maybe a relationship. I don't know. I've only read the first volume. That's the feeling I got from the ending. So I thought it was kind of fun. I think the characters work together, but just if you can get past a lot of the that like kind of ecchi scenes, because there are some moments where I get the feeling that maybe this author probably also draws hentai on the side.
Yeah,
I know Tucker is a real big fan.
Yeah.
But it's not so bad that you're like, this is taking away from the story or anything. So I don't know, if you're interested, check that out. It is called My Dress Up Darling.
How does it sort of kind of sounds similar to Smile Down the Runway? Obviously not with
kind of, yes,
cosplay stuff, but same kind of dynamics, perhaps?
Yeah, except they do show her in some underwear a lot.
As you do.
As you do.
Oh,
but I don't think that the ecchi is so bad that I was like, I can't take this anymore. This is so stupid.
It's not the selling point.
Right, yeah. It's just kind of, she's really into Edo games, and her outfits that she wants to make are pretty revealing. So, there you go.
Nice. Mitz, you ready for some mailbags?
You know what? I am always ready for mailbags.
Or at least one.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag. All right, guys, if you want to submit a mailbag, you can do it on our website, AAApodcast.com. Along the top, there's a mailbag button. You click the button, you submit a mailbag, and while you're there, you can submit a topic request, you can submit a hentai mailbag, you can submit a living big in Japan, you can submit all kinds of things, just limitless options. Salamandar 2020 wrote, "Hello, you beautiful folks. I have 2 questions for you to consider today. Much appreciation of your views. 1, I very seldom find any anime that's highly rated, AniList rating, which I disagree with. So I was very surprised I could not get with the program on Land of the Lustrous. I wanted to watch it since I've heard all 3 of you mention it numerous times on the podcast, and it seems to be a fan favorite. I shall speak no evil, but there's hardly anything positive I can say about the show, and I dropped it after 2 episodes-ish, and I very seldom drop shows. Is there something that I am missing here? Guys, I have not seen this. Would you like to weigh in?"
I can go first. You're missing the other 10 episodes, my dude. I personally found the animation, the soundtrack, the concept unique, beautiful, and refreshing. And it's a phenomenal story on self-loss, on exploration, and finding purpose and humanity. That said, it's not a show for everyone, and if you're not vibing with it, you're not vibing with it. No reason to force yourself just because I think it's a really darn good show. So I wouldn't sweat it. Just find something else you're digging.
Mason said what I was going to say.
You gotta watch the other 10 episodes, bro.
You really do, though. It's really good. And the manga goes, oh, I can't wait for season 2 win.
Get with it.
Get with
Just
it.
kidding. Anyway. So, number 2, I see single-parent households as a theme in the majority of shows that I've watched. Is this just a mechanism to provide better texture for the story? Or is this a very common situation in Japan? The answer is actually far less common in Japan than in most other places. I think the divorce rate in Japan is actually like half of what it is in the U.S. Mason actually has like a study that he'll mention later, but like, you know, honestly, like most things in anime, like they don't really all that accurately reflect Japan. You know, it's just like how people think that like when the minute they step off the plane in Japan, they're gonna like see anime stuff everywhere, and that's just not how it is. So, you know, just like a lot of things, it's not a real accurate reflection of Japan is the long and short of it. Mason, you have a study with statistics, which I like.
I mean, I guess I approached it on, you asked like, is this a common thing in Japan? And I would say it's not significantly more common anywhere else. I looked up, you know, percentage of children living under single parent households, and in Japan it's like at 7% compared to like the US and UK, which are like the low 20%. So it's not like it's way more common of a thing in Japan. Not to say it's uncommon, but I would say it's the same way where like, you know, you get shows about a child prodigy. Like, yeah, that definitely happens and is a thing, and that's the story that they want to tell, but it's not a significant factor of the population. So it just is what it is, and I wouldn't say it's a commonality in Japanese life.
Okay. I think Mason's also reading my answers.
I'm not, I promise.
He's stealing them.
I promise. It's getting back for you for winning the game.
Oh, it's my fault.
He's getting revenge.
If you did get all the right answers, you went to 1. Like, that's clearly on you.
It's my fault that I did Devil
wouldn't
Kings.
Sengoku be samurai? It's the samurai
it's
thing.
Devil May Cry characters.
I guess I should have known that they would have censored it so much that they were like, oh, they don't even want any Easter samurai. Get it away from me. Devils, yeah, that's what the people want to be playing. Yeah, it's just part of the story.
Salty boy is salty.
I am sad. But,
salty and spicy.
But thank you, Salamander, for the mailbag. Much appreciated. Much love. And with that, are you guys ready?
No. Not really. I'm really not.
Once again, the pain train does not stop because we have our review of Rent a Girlfriend, aka Kanojo Akarishimasu. Summer of 2020. I passed this show after impressing it on episode 534. You can find this show on Crunchyroll. It's done by Studio TMS Entertainment. They've been knocking it out of the park with Dr. Stone and Fruits Basket as of late. It's based on the Reiji Miyajima manga, and it's directed by Kazuomi Kogo, which I believe all they've really done is 2015's Rainy Coco, Welcome to the Rainy Color. So, with all that said, who wants to give their initial expectations first?
Did you talk about what the show is about?
I said Rent a Girlfriend. What more do you need to know? Rent a Girlfriend tells the story. Thank you for reminding me. It is in the title though, of Kazuya, this wet goober male main character who just is kind of a scumbag, and he's in college, which you would think means he's really mature, but we'll get to that. And he's a little down in the dumps after his long-term first girlfriend, Mommy, dumps him. And in order to kind of pick his spirits back up, he decides to try out a rent-a-girlfriend service where get someone to pretend to be his girlfriend. And from there, things go off the rails and relationship and hijinks ensue.
Pretty good.
That's the summary.
You nailed it. Good job.
I didn't even make a summary.
I feel like this whole episode, everyone is so desperate to get it over with.
You know, honestly, I have a lot of things to say.
Okay,
who wants to go Mitch, hit it.
yeah. So my thoughts on this show were like, I just thought it was gonna be a romance anime. You know, as romancy as romance animes normally get. You know, considering most of them end up love triangles. But this show, I don't know. I guess I thought it was gonna be like, I actually had high hopes, to be honest. Like I was thinking like, oh, this show is gonna be like this fun little like lighthearted romance thing where, and I honestly thought it was gonna be a show where like he'd meet a girl and then he'd like fall for her and like he'd rent her, quote unquote, and then like fall for her and then they'd become like a couple or something. I don't know, I guess that's what I was hoping for. And I think that the first half of the first episode really led me astray on that, and we'll get to that in a minute. But you know, I don't know. That's about it.
I didn't really know what to expect, except it was when it first came out. I heard a lot of buzz around it, and I heard very, very mixed opinions. Some people absolutely loved it and were like, "You need to check out this show." So I put it on my list, but then when Mason passed it, I just held off on it for whenever we got to our review. And I also heard people saying that it was just like they just could not tolerate it. So I didn't know what to expect. I did think that the art was very cute, though. So yeah, I didn't know what to expect. It other than other than it was about this rental girlfriend like experience, which does exist, and it's not just for girlfriends. They have all kinds of them, from like girlfriends, boyfriends, siblings, parents, where you can like do this whole experience kind of similar to like a host or hostess club, except you're not like sitting in a bar, you know, drinks and everything. You like go out on dates. And so yeah, that's all I knew about it, and I thought that would be kind of interesting because I couldn't remember any shows about that. So yeah, I was just kind of interested to see where it took it.
Yeah, my expectations, kind of going off the impression, was the visuals really didn't have any great animation and the character models didn't look right, but they were really good character designs. And sound-wise, I thought it sounded fantastic. I think the vocal delivery and performances by the actors and actresses are the best part of this show.
Not in the dub.
Obviously, this setup is not to my liking, but like the initial episodes had like a sort of like an underlying theme of like family dynamics, and I'm like, oh, it might have a little more depth. And despite my reservations, I was like, okay, this is clearly going to be the popular show in kind of a drought season. And listen, just to defend myself, if any of you guys have seen GB8, if you would have watched that show, any show after that looks good. So that's why I had to pass at least one show, and it was this one. So we'll see if we end up regretting that. Spoiler-free recommendation. Let's go in the same order. Mitsugi, what do you got for us?
Oh my god, this anime was so interminable. Every character in this show is just, I never want to see them again, except for like the red-haired girl, like way late in the show. She wasn't really around long enough to really be all that annoying. Sumi, yeah. Every other character was just like brutal. I mean, like I really was. Like, after the first half of the first episode, I was like, oh my god, they are going to fall for each other. And, like, I'm going to get a romance show, like, that's not dumb. And, no, that's really not what happened. Everybody is just so insufferable, right down to, like, the grandma, like, in the anime. Like, even her, like, I'm just like, oh my gods. So, like, overall, I mean, this anime is just what you would expect of a harem show. It's full of, like, really just bad people, and it's full of annoying characters and unrealistic situations and unrealistic relationships and people who tolerate way more bullshit than they ever should, and just toxic people, and it's not good. Like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend this to really anyone, probably. I mean, there's like so many other shows you could watch to get a romance show. There's so many other harem anime that I'd recommend. There's so many other comedies. Like, I mean, I would go like watch Love Hina before this thing. So, I mean, you know, at least Love Hina is a little more innocent feeling and a little less like I want to take a shower. So, no, not really. I wasn't much of a fan.
I'm sorry if this takes a second, Mason.
No, take your time, get it out.
But I was so disappointed in this anime. It's so sad. I was so disappointed in it because, and I think the reason why I'm so let down and not just kind of like, oh, that was trash, is because the premise itself I thought was actually really interesting. And it has little glimmers in there of being more than just like a stereotypical rom-com. Like we, without any spoilers, we have a main character whose family constantly puts him down, and they pile expectations upon him, and they act very disappointed when he can't deliver what they want. And his first girlfriend broke up with him very soon in their relationship, and like she's the whole reason why this whole situation happens. And yeah, like she doesn't even really give him a reason why, and all of this kind of leads into him having a terrible self-esteem and very obvious trust issues, which is completely believable and very relatable for some people, especially like for someone of his age. And so when he turns to like this rental girlfriend service for companionship, it's a job that, like I said before, we haven't really explored. And there's so many areas where they could have taken this, like to explore Chizuru's job or how it affects customers, Kazuya in this case, while like still preserving the comedy. Like, I'm not saying it has to be like a drama, but I thought that there are so many ways that they could have taken this in a cool direction. And man, it's just like has a really complex background for just a typical rom-com, but it plays it so safe the whole time. It just never steps outside of the boundaries of being a typical, I guess, quote unquote, otaku comedy. And I don't mind shows with terrible people. Everyone in Onisama A is abusive and overly dramatic, but I think why that kind of works though is that it explores all their backgrounds, and all the characters have progression. Nobody in this show ever changes for the better. Kazuya's actions at the start of the show make sense, but then the events in the show just constantly reinforce and encourage his behavior. And it's not just him, everybody in it. Like, we have two girls who are absolutely possessive of him. And yeah, and they just can't, even Chizuru herself constantly, she does try to show like a more professional side. She tries to keep things professional, but still resorts to lying constantly when she doesn't have to at all. And yeah, I just, I don't know. She also has some very weird views on like what a quote unquote real girlfriend should act. So yeah, so she also kind of falls into the trap of like a stereotypical rom-com kind of like harem character. And the grandma is the absolute worst character in this entire series.
She's so bad.
And I have no idea why anybody is working so hard to keep her happy. And then we have the shy girl who ends up only being it for 10 minutes. And she was very cute and could have been a breath of fresh air in this. So I don't really recommend it. I mean, unless you can look past all of the flaws and you just want the cute art, because the girls are very, very cute. I love their designs. The fashion in it is great. The animation's rough, but keep in mind it did come out during COVID and everybody's been hit. So that's all I can really recommend it for, though. I think and this is not a harem anime. I don't mind harem anime, but I feel like the background to this one, the premise, does not work, and it doesn't really qualify as a harem. It has harem elements, but main guy does only have an interest in really one girl, so I don't think it really even qualifies as a harem. Like, I don't even know what genre they're going for other than comedy. And I think the main character's very serious issues hold back the comedy, because watching a guy stalk a girl he barely knows and gets mad at her for just doing her job, it's creepy, not funny. So no, I don't recommend it, but if you did enjoy it, that's great.
Yeah, it's not really a harem, and it's not a reverse harem. It's like, I don't know what to call it.
If it was a reverse harem, we'd have loads of hot guys.
It's like
boyfriend.
It's like an inside-out harem. I don't know, something.
Season two.
Inside-out harem.
Something is happening in this.
That sounds like a horror. Is this Jinji Ito?
Oh, it was a horror, all right, Mandy. As we know, Mason. I guess.
feel like there's something to be said for watching the hot new show, and then, like, when the community is buzzing about it and reacting together, like, it ramps up the excitement, the memes, and the fun of the show. But like a season removed from all that, this show is not worth watching. The few genuine moments of emotional or relationship progress are always undercut with like bad comedic attempts, and it simultaneously fails at being a comedy, tragedy, and romance all at once, like tripping over itself worse than the main character. It's reminds me a lot of like Masamune-kun's Revenge or Gamers, where it's just full of like terrible cringe moments where it just takes you out of anything it's trying to do. And I really dislike shows where the show is just like a house of cards just waiting to tumble down as our MC just continues to dig a deeper and deeper hole where you know it's going to end poorly. And I'm going to say some nice things about the show. Don't misunderstand me. But like every character, story beat, and discussion is like racked with terrible taste that goes beyond Shrimshman. And yes, Ruka is best girl. And yes, some moments really do land. But on a whole, like, unless you were part of the conversation and part of the excitement around it, I think there's very few people who will have anything to grasp onto worthwhile with this show. So that's all I've got, and I think we're ready for spoilers.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
I was planning on playing Devil's Advocate and trying to talk more on the positive side, because I thought we were all going to be really negative, because there are things in this that I like, for sure.
Yeah.
But
and you definitely nailed it with the show had a lot of interesting dynamics set out for it, and the great design. So the interesting prospect of a girlfriend that is on this rental service side, and like how will that play around in his quest to get a girlfriend, and all this like could have been unique and interesting and engaging, but they play it so close to the formula that you're just like, oh, well, it's tired. And the good designs and good voice acting isn't enough to save it from what I think we should probably talk about first is the characters themselves. And I will give the show credit. Like, what's worse? Characters that are flat and boring and lifeless, or characters like this that are scumbags and make us talk about them? I would say the flat ones are more uninteresting, but that doesn't make these characters great. So obviously, I think we have to start with Kazuya, who is just the personification of trash.
Well, I was going to say first that, like, yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And I was going to say this in, like, my pros is that I feel like this is so much better because I had a whole lot to say and I had a whole lot of thoughts about it. And people, like, you know, I got me talking when there are so many just very mediocre shows where I'm like, I don't know what to say. During our review, I was bored.
I care enough. Like, we had tons of discussions in the Discord and in other chats. Like, we all have something to say, and there's something to be said for a show that makes you feel something, at least.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. So that is definitely one good thing to it. It's just whether or not you can, if you ever want to see these characters again.
Season 2.
So I guess, yeah, let's go ahead and start with Kazuya.
Kazuya was like, he's very troubled, you know, but like they don't really give enough input on his background to really let you explore that, you know, like I feel like, oh, it's like he clearly has a lot of problems, but like I don't really know how to put my finger on them exactly because there's not enough like context to a situation, so I don't feel like I have much understanding of like his situation when he spends like 2 whole minutes talking about how worthless he is. Like it's not much fun to watch that, of course, you know. And if the show is, I mean, as a character, Kazuya is like super lacking in confidence and has some self-worth problems as well. And but it feels weird because like this is not, it doesn't seem like very like that serious of an anime to have those types of serious issues in it. And so when he's like, you know, crying and talking about how he's not worth even having a girlfriend, and he just goes on and on about it, I'm like, well, you know, this is really terrible to watch, but like I can't really put my finger on you in the context of the situation to like feel like that should even be in this anime. Like I feel like this show would have just been a whole lot better if it was just like a Moto Toraburu, like just harem romp, you know, like, because I don't know. Did you guys feel like they gave enough context on Kazuya to really like spend so much time on his like emotional problems? Because I really didn't feel like they did. No,
and I felt like that was one of the biggest flaws of this show is that a lot of things happen and we are never given a reason why.
Mhm.
Like the whole thing is driven by, or the catalyst for everything is that his ex-girlfriend broke up with him, right?
Right.
And we don't know why. And if they had just left it at that, we probably could have been, accepted it. But they bring her back. We still are never given a reason why, but now she's suddenly obsessed with him, and we still don't know why she's obsessed with him now. I'm like, well, if you're obsessed with him now, then why did you just break up with him after a month? That's
Exactly.
really weird.
Yeah.
And it would have been different if they addressed it as like, oh, I didn't like how you acted before, but now that you have a little bit more confidence and you have I see how you're doing well with your girlfriend, your fake girlfriend. Now I'm super interested in you and I want you back. But that's never addressed. So I'm only left guessing, like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah,
I
mommy's
think we need. Sorry, go ahead.
mommy's really immature. It's mommy, right?
Yeah.
She's really immature, and it's like a lot of these characters, they're anime characters, and they seem young because the way they're drawn, but they're not young in this. Like he's 20, I think.
They're
Kazuya.
college, yeah.
And mommy's like, she breaks up with him, I assume for a reason. I mean, I can kind of guess at the reason based on just like watching this show with him in it. But ultimately, like, if you're gonna break up with somebody, then be mature enough to like not want him back the minute some other fucking girl supposedly shows interest, because that's just like something that like a 15-year-old would do. It doesn't seem realistic at all. And she's super manipulative. I mean, it was so painful to watch.
I think everyone is.
I mean, yeah, but that's like her thing, right? Her thing that made her unlikable was that how manipulative she was. And, it's just tough. Just tough to watch it.
I think we needed a 4-minute montage of Kazuya's relationship with Mommy and how great it was before. Because we come into the series, we immediately are introduced that Mommy is terrible and evil and deplorable and manipulative, and Kazuya's sad to not be with her. And we don't really get a sense of like what their relationship was like and how much he's fallen in his happiness and in his enjoyment. We just come in on him. He's already sad, and she's not a great person to be with. So we're already like stacking the deck against what their past used to be. And yeah, we can kind of pick up clues and hints about it, but it kind of makes us not really sympathize with what their situation was before. And as we said, every character kind of, mostly unintentionally, but in a lot of times against them, kind of manipulate Kazuya to lose confidence in himself even further and question, what he's there to do. And that it's not even a word, I'm not going to say it, just kind of messes up everyone and just gets everyone
It
in a funk.
deplores it? Is that what you're going to say?
No, I was going to say like deplorability of it.
It was deplorable.
Yeah, it was. But I liked the voice acting. I'll say it again. I thought the voice actresses absolutely killed their roles. Even Mommy, even Chizuru, even Ruka, like they all brought a different sense of life and like snidiness or energy to it. So big ups on that.
Well,
for Kazuya specifically, and I think the problem that I have with this being a comedy is his grandmother is like constantly puts him down, and she's the whole reason why this like fake relationship thing happens, is because I don't know if you said it during your synopsis, but he ends up on a date with this rental girlfriend, and then they get a call from his grandmother in the hospital, and he rushes over there but brings her with him. And so now the grandmother is so excited and thinks that he's finally found a girlfriend, and he's not a waste of space anymore. Like, she's awful. She constantly puts him down. And I think that's why it doesn't work as a comedy for me, because that's not funny. It was awful. They play it off as a joke, and I was like, this isn't funny. If this was like a serious drama, that'd be different, because I feel like Kazuya, there are parts where you can definitely, some people can relate to him. Like if you have a family situation where someone's constantly putting you down like that, saying you're never gonna get a girlfriend, you're gonna be alone forever, and who could stand being with you? It's like, yeah, no wonder he has really bad self-esteem issues. Someone else who's like constantly tells themselves that they hate them. Like, I understand, and it's something that I think some people can relate to, and that's interesting. But the way the story's set up, it just never addresses it. It's kind of it gives the illusion that this whole situation is going to help him gain confidence, and it doesn't. It just makes him worse over time, and it's really upsetting.
Yeah, Kazuya knows he like has flaws and he should change them, but he never really goes to improve on it. And when we see him trying to get back with like Mami, who is toxic to him, it's less funny and more just sad. And you're just
Yeah.
like, I don't really sympathize, but I don't want this to be the way it is. And how can we get to him? But he never gets the help he needs from. I mean, obviously his friend Kibe, which I've talked about with you guys, kind of gives him some pushes, but he gives a nice little speech about like, oh, Kazuya's a dreamer. He fights against the rough reality that the world gives him, and just give him a chance. And there's moments like that where you're like, yes, he has some support, but it's never enough to get him over the hump or out of the divot that he currently finds himself in.
Mm-hmm. And he has, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And the grandma puts so many like unreasonable expectations on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like and she's so unrealistic too. Like, I mean, it's like she meets his girlfriend and she's like sobbing about it. Oh my God, it's a miracle from heaven. Oh, it finally happened. And then like 3 minutes later, she's like planning their wedding. I'm like, what the fuck? Like not only is that like so much pressure, but like ultimately.
And then 5 minutes later, she's groping Chizuru in a bathhouse. So yeah.
Now that part's awful, but
Yeah.
Listen,
before that, I think there are definitely parents who put that much expectations on their child.
But I mean like if I was dating someone and like I met them and 4 minutes later they were planning our wedding, like I'd be like, okay, what is happening? And so like I feel the same way about her. It's like, you know, that might happen in real life, but I don't feel like it ought to, you know. And like I don't know, I've never seen a grandparent. My grandparents never were like that. So,
There's also I
know.
think a line between like, oh, say you meet someone's parents for the first time and they're like, when can we expect the grandkids? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's a joke. Whereas this is like, when are my grandkids coming? And you're like, ooh, this is not a joke. She's very desperate and serious about this.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird, and it's like it's not funny, and ultimately, I know it's just anime, and it's like this is really just a silly show, but I don't. It's not helping Kazuya. I mean, I don't tend to watch anime and just say, oh, it's anime, fuck it, it's just silly, like whatever goes. You know, I'm like, okay, well, like this lady doesn't seem realistic, and that kind of takes me out of it, and Kazuya's already having hard enough of a time, and that's not helping, you know. So I don't know. I didn't like the grandma much. She was pretty terrible and stupid. Like when the blue-haired girl shows up at the end and is like injects herself into the situation, it's like all the adults just somehow find a way to just prove that they are clueless. Fuck. Like I don't know what else to say about it, but oh my God.
Yeah. And I think what makes it so frustrating is that all these people constantly lie when they don't have to. Like Kazuya, man, the way that he acts with Chizuru is so awful. Like first of all, he knows what her job is. I mean, he went and hired her, and the first thing he does is give her a 1-star because she left a nice comment on somebody else's profile. It's like, wait, or somebody else said they held hands with her on their date. I'm like, what? You just hired her. You know what her job is. And then later on, he's stalking her and gets mad when she's with another guy. I'm like, this is her job. It's so, I don't know.
It's even better because he's like, ho hum, it's Christmas. I'm going to spend it all alone. Even though he has a girlfriend in Ruka. Like, he's like, oh, I'm all alone anyway. Let me stalk this person. And I will say the difference is he does like obviously creepily confront Chizuru on this pseudo date after stalking her, and he's like, what are you doing? And she like could have lied, but she doesn't. Like she at least tells the truth to him. Like she tries to support him in that regard and tells him, oh, I'm actually trying to be an actress and I haven't told anyone this. Like she at least is supportive in that way. But yeah, the stalking episode does no one any favors.
There's a few of those actually.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, all I could think of at the beginning is, Chizuru, why don't you just block him? Like, you don't have to put up with this. And I mean, this is your job. Just put a block on him and refuse to even talk to him.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I imagine none of us and probably most of the listeners haven't ever engaged in any of these types of like activities. But like ultimately, my opinion is that I don't think that people who are like super emotionally vulnerable ought to be going on dates with like escorts. Basically, like I mean, like you wouldn't want to like fall for a prostitute. You know what I mean? Like not that she is, but like it's the same line of work, right? So it's like
No, it's
No,
not.
it's
No,
not.
it's not at all.
It's very much the
Very
girlfriend
different.
experience of a date.
And not that there's anything against sex work. That's also a very legitimate job for sure.
well, I'm not even judging sex work. I'm just saying that like if you're paying a girl to go spend time with you, that's like a minus like going back and maybe having sex. That's like the definition of an escort because you're going to spend the whole evening going out and having drinks or whatever. But the bottom line is that like if you're a guy that's going to like fall for every girl that you spend any time with, you really probably shouldn't be hiring these types of relationships, and then she shouldn't be enabling his problems by like continuing to like sign up for it, even though he clearly isn't really. He's borderline dangerous. Like I don't know. I mean,
I think it's an over the top anime. Like it's clear to everyone what his disposition is. And there's a great scene with like Chizuru and Kazuya's friend where the dude is in a funk. He's like, "Oh, I'm swearing off women forever. Dating is the worst. Relationships are for the birds. It sucks." And by being a rental girlfriend, she like, as she says, like stops the bleeding, helps him recover. Like there is the healing aspect and side to it. And just say like, "Oh, this dude is clearly a little deranged and therefore shouldn't be getting with a rental girlfriend," is sure obvious, but not that clear cut. So
I don't know. This philosophy is on all that. Like I don't know that I necessarily believe that you.
I think it's like the same as people getting addicted to visual novels, which does happen for sure in host clubs and hostess clubs. It's the very same like kind of experience there where you get to experience a relationship, but it's not real. And I mean, yeah, people get addicted to visual novels too. It's very similar.
Can I talk about the best joke in the entire show?
Yes, please.
Episode 11. We meet Sumi, the shy one.
Oh, she was cute.
And on the date, Kazuya takes her to a bowling alley. And all the guys are like, "Oh, dang, she's so cute. She's so pretty." And one guy says, "She's right up my alley." At the bowling alley. That's the peak of comedy in this entire show. If that's it. That's the best line. So there's the one bowling joke of 2020 that actually landed. So that's about all it had going for it.
It's not easy to make a bowling joke, by the way.
It's really not. You got to give him credit for it.
I liked Sumi a lot. Like I really thought that. I mean, honestly, like out of all the girls in the show, she was by far the most likable. I almost like wonder why she was even in there. Ruka is, oh man.
Ruka did great because she boxed out Mommy. When Ruka arrived, Mommy took a back seat for a while, and that was amazing. And her bow has more personality than some other characters, so that's why she's all right.
I didn't hate Ruka. She's not as big of an issue to me as a lot of the other characters in this. I don't understand why Kazuya doesn't just. He's like the people in this show are so frustrating because they're so. Just the whole show is like every male character in it is obsessed with girlfriends. Like, right? It's like, "Oh my God, look at that hot girl that he's got," and "Oh my God, is that girl with him?" And then meanwhile we get like two main character guys crying every episode because they don't have girlfriends. And here's Ruka. Yes, she's clingy, but she's here and she wants to be your girlfriend. And you're like, no, I'd rather just pay money to hang out with this other girl. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Chizuru to some degree, that in his heart he knows that's the one he wants to be with, and there is something to be said for that.
But that's a big problem because Chizuru isn't into it, and well, ostensibly isn't into it. But if she is, she's like, I don't know, not doing a good thing to him. I mean, like he had to just go with Ruka, but you know, it's just so frustrating. It's like, I don't know, it's where was Sumi when we needed her?
Ruka's another one where I feel like I don't understand. I don't understand why she was so obsessed with him so quickly, other than they were just trying to move this along faster. Because she doesn't really give us a reason. Like, I need this very particular guy, and I love him, and he's gonna be mine. I'm going to like manipulate him into being mine. I don't know. That's really weird. We don't really get a reason why, except they kind of give hints that she might have a heart condition or some other kind of condition. And I don't know. I feel like this is another example of like like where mommy, I'm like, well, why are you obsessed with him now? We're just not given enough background. I don't understand.
Yeah.
It makes it
It's a
harder for me to
convenient-
get into it.
Convenient way to move the plot forward, as you said.
I think
Yeah.
her rationale was like, oh my god, if you could care that much about a rental girlfriend, imagine how much you could care about like a real girlfriend. And I'm just thinking
And-
like I'm like, okay, I understand that, but then I wonder like what happened to Ruka in her past, that she's like really was mistreated and just really wants to have someone that like gives a shit, or what it is, but I don't know that we ever got to see any of that. But
And I don't understand why she's so. She puts down Chizuru a lot and like blames her. When first of all, I completely disagreed with. I was like, Chizuru's just trying to do her damn job, and she's like, well, why are you doing why are you leading him on?
lying? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, yeah, first of all, she shouldn't be. She should have just blocked him. But
yeah.
also, she has been kind of manipulated into this by Kazuya. So I'm like, she's still trying to do her job. But Ruka was also working as a rental girlfriend. So now that she's in love with him, it seems kind of, I don't know, kind of contradictory that you hate Chizuru, or you're blaming Chizuru for trying to be a rental girlfriend and also being too involved with Kazuya. Well, you're trying to like straight up marry Kazuya, and you're still, I'm guessing, with this job, unless you quit and it didn't tell us. I don't understand that.
I think she's more upset that Chizuru is holding fast to "I'm just a rental girlfriend" as she goes above and beyond to deceive the family and stuff that clearly we all agree is like, we know plot wise why she's doing it, but it really shouldn't be that way, and it's part of the secondhand embarrassment.
Well, the dub was really bad. I don't know if you guys watched the dub, but I did, because it's easier, and I had a hellish work week, and I'm just really thankful they had a dub, because I could just put it on and watch it, quote unquote, while I was like building spreadsheets and shit. But like boy, it was rough. I mean, I wouldn't say every voice is bad, but Kazuya's voice was pretty rough. Some of like the screaming scenes where he'd like the scene where Ruka takes him to like a love hotel basically, and he takes like the blindfold off and sees her, and his reaction is just to like scream. And I'm like, one, you wouldn't do that. Two, your voice just blew my eardrums out. Basically, the dub was rough. I don't know if you guys watched it. Did you?
I watched the dub, but I didn't mind it. It didn't bother me.
And I didn't even like the music in this, like the weird like 8-bit Chopin's funeral march that they played like over and over again every time something bad happened, blended with like weird like almost dubstep like techno music. I didn't think it really worked. I don't know, man, what the hell?
Yeah, I thought the music was lackluster, but I do, and kind of my closing point is I want to talk about the OP.
I liked
From a music side, I thought the Peggies did an all right job. It's really fantastically produced. It has like this distinctive Japanese like flat mixing style, which makes the drum and bass loud while being open and spacey. I thought it was really well done in that way. But besides the cool rush of flowers that lead up to it and build up, which is interesting, there's a 7-second part of the OP which perfectly encapsulates the entire arc of the show, and it's kind of season 1 in a nutshell. And essentially it shows Chizuru just walking, minding her own business, and Kazuya like reaches out for her, but she doesn't notice, and he's kind of left behind. And like he realizes this, he looks at his hand, he digs deep, he pulls up all his determination he can muster and starts to like chase after her. And immediately he gets stuck in a loop, and he's chasing like signs, arrows that lead him in a circle, leading nowhere. And like that perfectly is what the show is. Like the viewers want him to grow, the show wants him to grow, the characters and even himself want him to grow and have confidence and be less dependent and needy and reliant on others, but he just doesn't. He gets caught in the same cycles and the same trappings time and time again, and we start and we end at the same place. And I don't know if season 2 is going to do anything with this. I'm guessing for the most part it won't, but
This
it
is
was
season
just
2.
frustrating. It was just a squandered show that kind of was
Did you say there was a season 2?
There's season 2.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, the manga is still ongoing. I do want to say that I actually really like Chizuru a lot, and I think up until the very end, where I mean, for a while there, she tried really hard to keep things professional, and I did hate that she started lying, but I mean, her grandma was also involved in it, and she's definitely not perfect, but for a while there, she tried so hard to keep things professional and to kept telling him that we can't keep doing this and try to cut him off multiple times and kept getting ripped back into it. But I really hate at the end they're trying to force a relationship between them. Like they gave hints that she is interested in him. I'm like, no, just keep things professional and just don't talk to him.
Could you imagine being Chizuru and being with someone who could not read any like signals well at all?
Yeah.
Like, when they were like staying at the inn together, and she's like, could you like not sleep right by me? He's like, fine, I'll sleep out in the hallway. You hate me, and we're the worst people.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, you don't have to sleep in the hallway. You can just sleep in the room, but just like not right next to me. He's like, she loves me. There's a chance.
Yeah,
It's like,
I know.
My dude, just
So much
easy.
anxiety.
Just
And I felt so
easy.
bad that she was like, "No, I'm not going to come into your room because that's against the rules of my organization. We don't go to your house, and I could lose my job for this." And he kind of just constantly emotionally manipulates her, like, "But my grandma's going to be so disappointed." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry, Chizuru."
I don't even know why Chizuru like is doing the job. Like there's a whole
But she's getting acting like experience out of it, and she just enjoys it.
I mean, I guess so, but like there's also a whole episode where she's like terrified of her family finding out, and I'm like, you're 20, you could do anything. So why are you doing this if you're so petrified of like your family finding out? Like it just, I don't know. You would think you'd have to make sure that like it was cool with yourself that like people might know.
Well,
because I don't know.
Family members don't always understand. I've done things what I really enjoy doing. I'm like, I'm never going to tell my family ever because I don't want to cause that talk to happen. So,
And I would just say I would move for sure if I ended up living next to Kazuya.
oh yeah,
Oh my
I felt bad for her.
God, how did she... Oh my! I know it's just like the show is like setting up some wildness. Like it's like they always end up at the school with them or something. But like I would move right away. But you know what? She probably couldn't because they have like this ridiculous key money bullshit in Japan, and the penalties for moving are like insane. She probably wouldn't be able to afford it.
I did want to quickly say that I think how I would have liked the show a lot more, and still keep the whole thing like in, like the whole kind of like harem type of element to it, is that I think it would have been really nice if they kept the setup the same, and where you have this adult man who is just down on his luck, feeling sorry for himself, and doesn't have a great well, he loves his grandma for sure, which is great, but grandma's not great to him. And I think if we just completely forgot about the whole like accidental girlfriend situation, if they just set it up where he just got really into this like rental girlfriend experience and was like maybe introduce a new girl each episode, and where he's learning about them, and he's learning things about himself, and as the show progresses, like he slowly becomes a better person and realizes, hey, I don't need to do this anymore. I have enough confidence to go out and, meet people on my own. And like you could even still keep ecchi comedy in there. And I think it still would have been like a unique enough premise for it to be like really interesting. I don't know. I think that's how
an
I would
ecchi
like it.
Iyashike, a healing show that turns you on a little bit.
Yes.
I would have liked it to have been like an Amagami SS type show where, where it's like the same scenario over and over again. It's just different girls. And
isn't this Monogatari? Isn't this just Bakemonogatari?
You know what I mean though, because that's what I thought it was going to be. It's Rent a Girlfriend. So I thought it was going to be like, oh, there's like I don't know 8 girlfriends, and he just tries each girlfriend, and then maybe like the last 4 episodes is like he chooses one, and then he sticks with that girl for like 4 episodes or something. I don't know, but like that's ultimately not what we got. I guess that would have been kind of like an Ishizoku Reviewers type thing where they try different experiences out, and but that wouldn't have been like as zany, I guess. So or maybe not as entertaining. But maybe he would have picked Sumi at the end.
Maybe. Any final comments?
Nah, I had a lot to say. I'm happy that we I actually don't mind that we reviewed this. I thought there was a lot in here to talk about. And
Good. I'm glad I'm not getting blamed.
I could say that And like, there's a lot more that I can say about that than like some of the other shows that we have reviewed, where I come out of it feeling so empty-headed. Listeners, I'm like, I don't know what to say.
Well, I wasn't really bored watching the show, so like that's honestly, I'd rather be frustrated than bored. You know, like it wasn't a boring show; it was easy to watch. I was frustrated with all the things I was seeing, more or less, but you know, I've had less enjoyable experiences. I think that if someone's looking for like, I hate calling anything trash, but it kind of is trash anime. If you're looking for just like a trashy anime that's just like, you know, careless romance comedy, I guess, like you might enjoy it. You know, I mean, I think that there are probably some people that have seen most of that genre and are hunting for more, and you know, this could be a good one for you. But if you were looking for like any kind of a serious show, or you know, this probably isn't really the right place. And if you're, you know, if you struggle with like anxiety, like watching Kazuya just gave me anxiety. Like I don't know if I'd watch out for that for sure, but I don't know. I won't be watching season 2. You know, I have no idea where the hell that would even go. It's can't even
Now
imagine.
let the listeners say anything about it.
Oh no, Jesus!
Hey, this show is
No.
trash, but raccoons need to eat just as much.
Oh my God, no!
I'm glad we had a lot to talk about. As you heard, we talked for quite a while. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But that was it. That was episode 553 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. You can follow us all on Twitter. The podcast is at AAA Podcast. Mitsugi, where can the fine folks find you?
At Pope Mitsugi. I haven't really been on Twitter much lately, guys. You know, but if you want to follow me, I'll probably be talking about Cyberpunk here in the next week or two. I'm so fucking excited. So there'll be some Cyberpunk talk probably.
And Mandi, what's the bird game got going on over there?
The what game?
The bird game. The bird app.
What?
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. I think you said
tweet.
Bird Gang. I was what is the Bird
Gang?
I am Mandi X Mandi. Mandi spelled with an I on Twitter, and I'm not really doing anything right now. I need to catch up with Twitter because I've been out of it for the last few days.
You can find me at Macy Pacey. I make videos making fun of Inuyashiki, and it's very funny, and I'm very proud of it. You can also find us at Facebook, the group's at AA Podcast. Discord, there's so much good stuff going on. We got the December Running Club going up. The seasonal watch party is starting up soon. Anime Club will be discussing Tokyo Magnitude 8.0, December 16th at 10 p.m. EST.
Wow.
You can find it on Funimation. Classic. Go check it out. Mandi?
Yeah, if you come to our manga club this Wednesday, December 9th at 10 p.m. EST, we are reading the first 2 volumes, or the first omnibus volume, of Saint Young Men. So that'll be fun. So come join us.
And go to aapodcast.com. Check out all the links at the top. There's so much good stuff. Go to iTunes. Give us a review if you want. Next week, we'll be doing a review of Great Pretender. So thanks, everyone who joined us live, and we will see you in a week. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.